Happy Halloween, everyone. Hi, everyone. It's me, Gaming Do, and welcome to my movie review of my all-time favorite horror slash, guess you could say, Halloween movie ever made. No movie is as good as this movie, in my humble opinion. And that movie is 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, guys. This movie is so scary. I have a lot of history with this movie. When I was a little kid, I used to be so scared of Freddy Krueger. Like when I was 8 or 9 years old, which that was like 10 years ago actually, I used to be so scared of Freddy. Like when the remake came out, I was just a little boy when that movie came out. I was freaking scared of Freddy Krueger. Now, I think he is one of the most awesome yet funny horror movie characters of all time. But what if he wasn't that funny? Basically, your answer is the first Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the best Nightmare on Elm Street. And in my personal opinion, the best horror movie ever made. I love Halloween. I will probably review that in Halloween 2020. But this year, I gotta go with my favorite. I can't skip out on this movie anymore, especially since I think on, what is it, November 9th? It's turning 35. So, get ready for that. And this is my Halloween video, basically. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So, are there any negatives with A Nightmare on Elm Street? Nope. I can't really necessarily say I have even one negative with this film. Maybe if I was like 8 or 9, I would have said it's too scary, but now, wow, it is a freaking terrifying movie. Which I will get into why in a second. It's awesomely scary. Like, this is a movie every horror movie fan should see. Along with, like, Halloween, The Shining, and John Carpenter's The Thing. All those movies should be seen by horror fans. And I'm not a gigantic horror movie fan, but I am, I guess you could say, a casual horror movie fan, and I like all the classic movies like those I've mentioned. But, okay, let's get into the review. So what's the movie about? Basically, the movie is about Freddy Krueger, who was a child killer, basically, and then the parents basically got revenge on him and burnt him to death. But then he comes back as a dream killer and kills the teens of the parents who burnt him. That is pretty dark, honestly. I love that concept for a movie. And the rest of the video is pretty much positives. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger gives an absolute perfect. I don't think a single person can do Freddy Krueger. It's like all those classic characters who can't be done by another actor. Like, it's impossible. Like, I don't know. James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. Who else could you imagine as Darth Vader? Heath Ledger as Joker. There's a bunch of great Jokers, but he is the best. I don't think anyone will be the best Freddy besides Robert Englund. He gives this creepy, maniacal performance that is absolutely terrifying. The protagonists are all very likable. Well, I don't really know about Rod Lane being that likable. I mean, he is kind of a jerk, but he's you can still see he's not entirely a terrible person. Because in the movie he is convicted of murdering Tina, who you think is going to be the main protagonist, but she gets killed off about 10-15 minutes into the movie. And then you get on to Johnny Depp's character, who, this was his first role ever. He plays Glenn, who is Nancy's boyfriend, basically. And we get on to the main character, Nancy, who is a great horror movie heroine. Absolutely incredible. She's probably my all-time favorite final girl. Like I said, I'm not a massive horror fan. I'm like a moderate horror fan, but she's probably my favorite final girl of all time. She's scared of Freddy, but she obviously stands up to him and is not really afraid of him by the end of the movie because she knows she can outpower him. She sets up a bunch of traps in her house to basically cripple him. And then, apparently, if you don't believe in Freddy, basically, he doesn't really exist to you, is what they're saying in this first movie, which they basically abandoned throughout the rest of the series, but that's basically about it. Well, not for the review, because we got one major category at least to go, and that is the kills. Oh boy. These are one of, if not the best horror movie kills of all time. I mean, there are plenty of horror movies with great kills, but I think this one might take the cake. The first kill in this movie is one of the scariest scenes in any horror movie. Period. Like, literally, it scares the living shit out of me to this day. Basically, Freddy haunts Tina. Then, as he sees her, or as she sees him in the alleyway, his arms extend, which that is a really cool practical effect. I gotta say that. And then he pops out of like trees, he cuts his fingers off, she pulls his face off to reveal this really creepy looking Freddy. It's awesome. And then the kill itself is really bloody and gory in a great way. Like, she literally gets dragged all over the walls. There's so much blood. And then the kill in the movie that is probably the weakest is the Rod Lane kill, where he basically gets hung by Freddy in the jail cell by like a sheet or something. That might be the possible weakest aspect of the movie. Like, it's kind of just not on par with the first and third kill, because the third kill is Glenn's kill, and basically he gets dragged into his bed, and then after that a whole blood volcano comes out of his bed. It is such a cool effect, and it is awesome. Boy, I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. It is seriously one of the best horror movies ever made. Period. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. You did an incredible job on this film, and you and the entire crew that worked on this film deserves an A+. That's it for my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Halloween, everyone. Gaming Do here. See you later. Bye.